What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me today in the Good News Room. So, today I have a special guest with me, a good friend of mine. Her name is Miss LaTanya Harris Gooden, and we are still talking about depression. We know how important and serious that certain time that people go through that it can be. So I decided to bring her on today to give her point of view, her testimony, and let you know and on her experience that she went through for quite some time and how she overcame that. I definitely want to utilize this platform as a tool to give you guys resources and encouragement in real situations with real people, how they can overcome what they went through. You may be experiencing the same thing, so we're going to jump right in. We're going to do an interview with her, let her speak, and we're just going to converse a little bit. And I hope you guys enjoy.
Let's go back to when it first started. Do
Okay.
you know, is there a certain period of time in your life that you were going through something specific? When did you actually recognize that you were depressed?
Well, in hindsight, I could trace it back to my childhood. But
Okay.
as a child, I didn't know what to call it.
Gotcha. That makes good sense.
I
Okay.
just knew that I wanted to get to the root of why I felt I wasn't accepted.
Okay.
I was an obese child,
Okay.
a very dark-skinned
Okay.
child, and not really socially accepted.
Okay.
Didn't really meet the criteria of the popular girl.
I got you.
I hung out with the nerds, the outcasts, the downtrodden.
Okay. Okay.
And I just know that kids can be cruel.
Absolutely.
And this is 30 plus years ago. I wouldn't even know
Yeah.
how I would have handled it in the social media
Yeah.
arena. I don't think I would have.
Mhm.
But this is 30 plus years ago. And with all those different dynamics, it made for daily bullying. I'm just going to call it what it is.
Okay. That
It
makes sense.
did. It did.
Absolutely. So at what point did you, like you said, as a child, you didn't recognize it as such? So at what point in your life, where were you? How old were you when you actually recognized it as depression and could call it what it was?
I would probably say in my 20s,
Okay.
maybe mid 20s, because growing up where I grew up, in church, you really were looked at funny if you claimed something like that. What do you mean you're depressed? Depressed and Christianity don't go together.
Right.
You doing something wrong. You ain't sin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they
Yeah.
would really like, no, don't claim that. Don't even, no, because if you speak that,
Yeah.
you claiming that, stop that.
Yeah.
Call it
yeah.
a thing if it's a thing.
That's
If
right.
it's depression, I'm not saying I want to keep it. I am just acknowledging at that point in my
Absolutely.
life, this is what it is. Lord, help me with life.
And that's the thing with me when, religion can really
Mm-hmm.
put you
Kill
in a
you.
box. It can kill you. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because with the whole, they misconstrue certain things, and the whole speaking life. You can speak life, but and also you want to, rebuke things in the name of the Lord, but you can't rebuke something if you're not going to admit to what you need to rebuke.
Right.
So calling a thing, I definitely agree with that. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging the situation. That's the only way you can heal the situation. You
Right.
got to sweep things up under the rug, but being able to acknowledge, and I'm glad that you got to the point that you could acknowledge it.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't know how to recognize what they're going through,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it causes them to stay in that cycle of confusion. And as you can see in my video, like I was going crazy because I didn't know what was going on
Right.
at the time. I was
Right.
really breaking all the way down because I couldn't explain what was going on.
Mhm.
I didn't know why it was happening. I didn't know if I
Right.
did something,
Right.
if I wasn't doing something. I'm just like, and like you, I grew up in church all my life. And so I wasn't really ever around the type of people that were like shameful in that regard, but I created an expectation for myself. I created an expectation for myself because I wasn't really known to be a troublesome kid, and I grew up in the same church that I've been in all my life. So I wasn't really known to get in trouble or, anything like that. So I felt like I had to uphold that
Yeah.
title, position, whatever it
Yeah.
was. So I kind of gave my own self a pedestal, but
Yeah.
blamed other people.
Mhm.
So being able to acknowledge that I put myself in that position to feel like I couldn't make mistakes because I was a church girl.
Right.
But
Absolutely. been
I
there.
was suffering, you know, and I felt like I couldn't explain it to people. Number one, because I didn't know what was going on, so I felt like I would have sounded crazy if I tried to explain it, but I couldn't. So I did, you know, suffer that in silence. But I want to get back to how you were saying, as far as you being able to acknowledge it. What were some of the symptoms that you started recognizing that you were doing that actually caused you, that you were depressed?
First of all, I am a naturally extroverted person, most of me. I love people. I'll walk in a room and just, hi, my name is.
Yeah.
When I started to retreat, isolate myself, the things that I felt good about myself diminished. And I would almost not even believe, if you were to walk up to me in that point in my life and say, you're beautiful, you're smart, I'm like, you're crazy. Who told you to say that?
Right.
Compliments were like, okay, what's your angle? What do you want?
That defense mechanism.
Oh, absolutely.
That defense mechanism.
Because if you don't believe that, or something happens to you and you stop believing that, and what depression does, it strips you of the essence of you. I felt layers. Who am I? Why did I just say that?
Absolutely.
What made me pick him?
Absolutely.
Why did I sleep with them? Let me just be very transparent. I know the way of the Lord. What made me turn into this promiscuous, just out here kind of chick, just to be able to say I belong to somebody? Absolutely. I started losing my connection with the Lord. My dreams, things that I would just like, Lord, I just want to do, like, I want to be a journalist. I want to be in plays. You can't do that. You can't. You're too big. You're too black. No, that would never happen to you. So you spend time looking at everybody else, doing what they love. Like, if I could just do that. Oh, I wish that was me. And I would pretend. I would have a microphone sometimes at home and do a newscast in my living room because I felt I would never be Karma Home. I would never be on the television being big, being dark skinned. And I recognized it because I couldn't recognize me. Yeah. Who are you?
Absolutely, and that's what depression will do. Depression will definitely cloud you.
Yes.
And when you go through depression, everybody has different layers.
Yes.
That they go through. Isolation was definitely one of mine. I would say for me, isolation was definitely one, and one of my biggest symptoms that I recognized, not even really to the end, but I used to sleep all the time because I'm already a natural overthinker. So when I was going through that, my brain was about to explode. I was thinking so much because I was trying to figure out, why was I doing this? Why wasn't I doing that? Why is this person acting this way towards me? Why is this person betraying me? What did I do wrong? Was I born into the wrong family? Like, what is going on here? So in order to turn my brain off, I would have to go to sleep. I mean, any given moment I could. I don't care if it was 10 minutes. I don't want to think, you know, and I don't want to feel how I feel.
Yes.
And, you know, to anyone that is suffering depression, the biggest thing is to understand that majority of the thing that you feel or may think, majority of the time is a lie.
Yes.
During depression.
Yes.
But to come out of it, you have to have a higher source. I would say for me, if I didn't have a relationship with the Father, girl, man, shoot, I don't know if I would have really made it out as fast as I did. That was really all I had. So it's definitely doable.
Oh yeah.
So, what would you say was your most breaking point during your time of depression?
I would have to say when I noticed how angry I became.
Absolutely. I would say so, because you're not an angry person.
You know, that is not who I am. But when you are in a place where you feel like nothing's going right, I lost my apartment, I lost my car, I got into payday loans. Not because I wanted to buy a big screen. Not because I wanted to buy a bunch of clothes. I think I was trying to pay a big utility bill. And that one decision spiraled into about 10 years of financial turmoil. And I refused to, in the beginning of it, involve family. I'm like, I will get myself out of this. I worked so much overtime. I ended up with high blood pressure issues, minimal time with my kid. But I was so set on coming out of a hole. So the average
Absolutely.
person gets paid. Yay. No.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the black for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
As soon as those payday loans hit your account,
Okay.
and you're in the negative,
Mm-hmm.
payday, I hated it.
Gotcha.
So then, because you were expected to be the successful person, Tanya kept a good job now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Lord has blessed me with a great career. But when you make decisions that mess your finances up, people look at you, well, you should have no problems. Girl, you make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then you're trying to appear together.
So talk to me a little more about the expectation piece.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely something, because you're pretty much walking around with a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
That expectation will dang near kill you.
And I think it did. It made me feel so much pressure from growing up hearing, if anybody's going to do good, it's going to be Tanya. If
Absolutely.
anybody is going to walk this thing out and get married a virgin, it's going to be Tanya. Mm-hmm. If anybody's going to become an entrepreneur and be wealthy, it's going to be her. Mm-hmm. And then even when you do make a mistake, oh, I found a mistake you made.
Absolutely.
Then it could be something so small, but they couldn't wait to bring it to me.
Okay.
You made them. And I'm like, yeah. I kept trying to tell you I'm human.
Mm-hmm.
You kept trying to act like I'm not.
Absolutely.
So then people start thinking you're arrogant, but you're not. I'm a hard worker. Absolutely. And even in my career, God has blessed me to be afforded with a lot of opportunity. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't because I was like, me. My hard work spoke for me. Gotcha. So it caused me to be selected in some, situations and opportunities. Right. But the expectations, even in that, oh, you got that, so I know you ain't gonna ever make no mistakes. Mm-hmm. And then when you do, because you will, mm-hmm. you feel like the ultimate failure. Absolutely. And then you're like, I don't want to be all of that right now. I don't want to be everything that you think I am. I just want to be able to be a human and be normal and not have my mistakes exalted. Absolutely. I don't want to deal with that. So
isolation, you mentioned, definitely was mm-hmm. one of mm-hmm. your symptoms that you recognized. Mm-hmm. Was there any other? And you said you being angry all the time. Yes. Now, when you say angry, is it something that you would just feel inside, or would you be exuding it? Was it triggers?
There were triggers. Okay. Relationships were triggers. Okay. Failed relationships. When I would be dating someone, okay. and I would know in my heart and my soul, mm-hmm. this isn't going to work. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, because of who I know I think I can be, right, I'm going to make this work. Mm-hmm. And then when it doesn't, plummet, just the absolute mental plummet. Mm-hmm. And then in dating, I was really into dating sites. Okay. So then you have people who can't see you. You can post a picture or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was always very honest about my size. Okay. Within the first sentence, you will see Christian plus size somewhere. Because I'm just going to be like, don't come with no heathenistic stuff, and just know you got to be a big girl lover. If that's not you, keep scrolling. So I was very honest about what I look like, mm-hmm. and then I would call the person, well, you don't sound like you're fat. But what does a fat person sound like? Because I'm not breathing on her.
I'm about to say, it must be the breathing.
Is that? So I'm like, okay. And then when we meet, it's like, well, you were telling the truth. Duh. I would rather overestimate my size than under. Okay. I would tell you can ready to meet Jabba the Hutt from Star Wars. And they'd be like, oh, you ain't that bad. Because I wouldn't want the rejection. I mean, it is.
And that's the word.
The rejection of someone that says, you cute, but mm-hmm. if you just lost, girl, you're going to be slamming when you lose blank. And grown men would tell me that when I was growing up in my first job. My boss told me that.
Oh, wow.
Tanya, girl, you're hard working, you're smart, you're cute. Girl, when you drop that weight, you're going to be a mamma jamma. I'm like, you little Squidward, get away from me. I'm like, I had to think about that. Thank you.
Right, exactly. So how do you respond to that? How do you respond to that? Absolutely.
And the word shade wasn't really out then, but that was shade. Yeah. And people would do that. It was always the weight before the smarts, before the personality, before it was always that prejudgment
Gotcha.
of she ain't gonna be able to do that. She too big. She ain't gonna be able to go. She ain't gonna be able to. And I started to believe it. And when people would call me and say, "Girl, we got tickets to see so and so," where the seats at? Are they on the end? Who car we going in? Because I had to see. I don't want nobody saying you too big in this chair. I can't.
Right.
You taking up my
so
space.
It's basically protecting. You have to pre-do all this stuff in your mind to have fun, to live.
Yes.
Based off of what you already expect is going to
happen. Yes, and my fun was minimal because of that.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to be subjected to the person with the small 2-door car or the seat that's not on the end.
Gotcha.
And you trying to, and even now, to be honest, the seat thing, I still kind of have that. Okay. But I still will go.
Okay.
I'll go. Okay. But back then, if it didn't meet the criteria, if it went through 100 questions, the answer is no. And most people knew it. Okay. They would still invite me. They would know she ain't gonna want to go. Oh, she ain't gonna want to do that. Oh, she ain't gonna want to do that. But let's just ask her. Right. Because I was afraid.
I got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's one thing that I definitely think a lot of people go through, whatever their insecurity may be. We all have our own little checklist. I mean, us women, we get dressed with somebody else in the room just to tell us how we look. Does this look like this? Does this shape this? Does this, we go through this because we're not confident or comfortable. And I'm not saying that. One thing I have discovered is it's okay to get the opinion of someone else, and it's okay to be confident within yourself. But even in being confident in yourself, it's okay to still get suggestions, because not everybody understands how to do certain things.
Absolutely.
So when you have that person that loves you enough to be honest with you, I think that that's vitally important.
Absolutely.
So I definitely appreciate your honesty with that, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't know how to be comfortable or convey to people why I don't want to do this or why I don't want to go there. And then other people, friends, family members are taking it personal because you're thinking that someone doesn't want to be around you and hang out.
And it's so not that.
And you have to definitely try to figure out what's going on with the person. So what would you say if you could suggest to someone that may be going through that, that they could convey to someone, or even on the opposite end, the other people that could be listening that may wonder why someone may not be hanging out? How could they approach them in a manner where they can invite them somewhere, or find out, is this why you don't want to go, or something that just makes them comfortable with asking them what's really going on?
I think it has to be honesty and conversation. Okay. A lot of times you'll hear a person just say no, and you just take the no and you walk away. And in your attitude, you don't never want to go. That's okay. Don't ask her no more. Absolutely. Instead of saying, I wonder why she keeps saying this is her favorite. This is commission. Right. That's my favorite group. I probably wouldn't turn that one down. I bring my own dining room chair. Listen, I'll bring my dining room chair from home before I turn that down. But anywho, if it's somebody else that I'd be like, man, I would even sit there and think about it. No. And then don't offer to pick me up. What kind of car do you have? How many doors do they have? Because back in the day, we had 2 doors. I don't even know why who came up with that? But anyway, I'm glad we got the revelation now. It's ridiculous. You got to pull the seat back and
get squeezed on in the back.
Oh, come on. And then you got somebody who will pull the seat up and just, and good and well. See, and you already know that's not going to work. You know that's not going to work. Like when you come to church and they say, you can come past me. No.
You need to get up.
You're going to have to get up. I hate to bother you. And things like that irk a bigger person.
I understand.
Because the rest of the world doesn't. Either they say, come on, or they say, let me get up. It's one extreme or the other. No, there's no in between. So I would say to those friends, if you have a friend that keeps saying no or doesn't respond at all, you need to pick up the phone. Don't text. Call or go knock on the door. Because they could be in depression.
Absolutely.
And the fortunate part for me is when I became fascinated with death, my fear of God, my fear of the retributions of the act of suicide stopped me.
Okay.
And then I realized it wasn't that I wanted to die. I almost wanted to fake my death and watch you squirm because you caused it.
Wow.
I fantasized about attending my own funeral.
Wow.
I just want to see, because y'all hurt me so bad.
Do y'all even care?
Do you even care?
Yeah.
I don't want to die. I'm not trying to just not exist.
Right.
I just want to step out of life for a little while and look and see, do you really understand what you did to me?
Right. That's powerful. That makes a lot of sense, because, everybody always, we see memes, posts,
Yes.
about who you think would attend your funeral.
Yes.
I think you'd be very surprised who would and would not be there for most people. I definitely understand what you mean about the not wanting to die. And again, that was because of my relationship with the Lord, that I didn't want to actually commit suicide.
Right.
But I did not want to exist anymore. I think I even said that in the video. Like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Wow.
I used to always, I don't even know if I was praying, if I was just always talking, but I used to always just say, I just want to go to sleep for a real long time.
Wow.
Real long time. And I don't want to wake up until I don't feel like this anymore.
Wow.
I used to always say that, like, and I would legit say that to the Lord, like, I don't want you to kill me, like, because I know that there's power in the tongue.
Right.
I'm like, I don't want to die. Let's make that clear.
Right.
But I want to go to sleep. I said, can you put me to sleep? And I just don't wake up for like a good couple weeks.
Wow.
But then I started thinking, what if I go in a coma? Like, I really started thinking about stuff like that.
I get it.
I didn't want to die, because at the end of the day, again, like I said in the video, I was always hearing, this isn't it. But it's like, I hear you, but right now is where I'm at. And this is frustrating me. It hurts.
Yes.
It's hurting me. I'm losing weight. You seen when I lost all the weight.
I've
never been big enough to really need to lose 20 pounds in a matter of a month and a half. Like, that just wasn't what I needed to do. And I was walking around looking sick. But that's what happened to me. Everybody suffers from depression differently. Another symptom of mine was, when I get emotionally distraught like that, I forget to eat.
Okay.
And to me, it's more so because I was forgetting about me altogether.
Wow.
I was forgetting about what matters to me.
Right.
What I value.
Right.
How important I actually am.
Yes.
How special I am. I wasn't thinking about me. All I kept thinking about was the other person.
Wow.
Or all I kept thinking about was what was going on around me and what was happening to me. So I definitely know what you mean as far as not wanting to exist anymore. And even got to the point with me, I wanted to stop going to my church. And it was specifically because, like I said, I gave myself that expectation of what I had to look like for the church, with me singing and stuff like that. Like, oh, you want a praise team and this, and that. And it's like, I prayed one day, I wrote in my journal, I said, I don't want to sing anymore.
Wow.
I said, I don't want anybody to see me. Wow. I want to be like the website, incognito. Like, I just want to go somewhere, but I still wanted to attend church. I still wanted to be fed the word. And so, and again, like that video, like she did such an amazing, thank you again, Ebony. You did such an amazing job. She captured everything that I told her because even in that, like, as I was speaking on the voiceover, even on my journal writing, I wrote a journal one day and I said, I want to still be fed the word, but I want to go somewhere where nobody knows me. Because I don't want to have to be anybody. I don't want anybody to have an expectation of what I should talk like, what I should be walking like, what I should be doing. I don't want to be known. But I still desire you. Right. I'm never leaving you. Even though I feel like you done left me, that you're not listening to me, I still want you. Wow. Because I know ultimately at the end of the day, you are everything.
Absolutely.
And that's just my relationship with him. And so, as I said in the video, he was still answering my prayers through that whole time. I did stop going to my church at one point. I didn't even recognize it's like a couple of months later. But I started visiting another church for actually a couple of months. Wow. And I didn't even realize it until, but that's what depression will do. Like, it will literally keep you so mind boggled and confused. You can't, and that's why I think you can stand depression so long, because you're not being intentional about being grateful and showing gratitude.
Absolutely.
I could not see that he was answering my prayers. I did start modeling, like, my vision board that I had in front of my bed. I had
a whole wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to start modeling. I wanted to stop going to church and attend another church.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of that.
Wow.
You know, and so I was able to still get fed the word, met some beautiful people,
Praise God.
you know, and things of that nature. So that's definitely what depression will do.
Yes.
Besides keep you in a bubble of a lie, you will get to the point of losing yourself. And like I said, I don't really have a connection with someone that I know got to the point of depression where they wanted to commit suicide. And I know that's a whole different level. But I do know what it feels like to want to just not exist.
Yes.
I definitely understand what that feels like. So I wanted to also ask you, at what point did you start to recognize how you can get out of depression?
I would probably say around in my 30s, when I finally made a decision that whether I'm married or not, I'm still okay. I can be patient for the right person God has for me. Whatever size I am at the moment, I'm still beautiful. And that's even a daily process. You never really arrive with that for me. You have to fight, you know, the enemy sometimes brings all those old feelings of ugliness and you're nothing back. And my prayer life has really helped me so much. But once I got to a place where I started to have fun again, and even in my dating, I was the kind of person where if I went out to dinner with you and I felt it was all right, I'm picking out wedding colors. I am naming our children. Hey, we had chicken and Verner's. This is a done deal. We like the 5 heartbeats. We like commission. This is my husband. And then when they would be like, no, we just had chicken and Verner's.
Right.
But you're nice. But you're smart. So when I got to the point where I could date
and just
be like, woo, thank you. Have a good night. And not be like, didn't call. He didn't call. And that took a while. That might have even been my early 40s because I put so much stake on trying to be married.
Gotcha.
Most of my adult life was in hot pursuit of being found. Gotcha. That makes any sense.
Absolutely.
And I think I know because I've talked to an ex of mine, like, you're really aggressive. Like, you're going to pick me. You're going to get saved. We're going to get married. And we're going to have kids. That's it.
End of discussion.
That's it. Now go get ready. Okay? Listen.
That is funny. And, you know, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of women will throw the whole I'm waiting to be found. And they just is looking and searching and available.
And it's a lie.
Yes. But when you tell yourself something so many times, you will believe it. And that's the same thing that depression does to you. You repeat the same lies over and over and over again till it becomes your truth.
Yes. Every time I would say, I'm done with this website. I'm done with scouring profiles. Are we back on here? Okay, that might work. Oh, he said Jesus. I'm just telling you. And didn't I just say I was going to be patient?
Yes.
And every waking moment is trying to, no, that ain't patient. That's a trick.
Absolutely.
And then in the meantime, you are diminishing your own self-worth because I'm just not a beautiful person because I'm attached to another person. Absolutely. Can we get to know me? That's what coming out of depression, I had to introduce myself to LaTanya.
That's right. Absolutely.
She cool.
Oh, she cool, y'all.
She cool. And I had to get to a point where I can go to the movies alone. I can go out to eat and have my almond chicken by myself and be just as happy, my tropical smoothie, whatever it was. And the moment I made the choice to really let go, within 2 months, my husband now and I reunited. 2 months.
Wow.
When I cold turkey, no more dating sites. Cold turkey.
Look at that.
I'm like, I'm done.
Abundantly.
Yes. God will do that.
Yeah.
But I had to be for real about being done. Yeah. When you say you're going to wait on God, it don't mean I'm waiting on God, but what your name is.
Right.
And I saw your profile. I mean, and I'm not knocking dating sites. Please don't think I'm doing that. I just know for me, I spent countless hours and time trying to be found or find somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it
trying
just
to get somebody to find you.
and
Hey,
just like,
I'm over here.
and become whoever that person wanted me to be, even to the point of laying down my salvation.
Really?
And that's how I knew this something ain't right.
Wow.
It was a time where I was like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I said no. And the next thing you know, they like, well, but if you love me, I'm like, Jesus, don't crack the sky. Right? Just, can you hold back the night? I don't want to miss you, Lord. But I want to have a husband.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's how you know something's not right. It's like, why did you even do that?
Absolutely.
And then even after that, they still gone.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what do you have?
Absolutely. And now
Feeling
you
guilty.
have to still
Yes.
build yourself back up. Every
A
time.
lot of rebuilding.
It
and
takes more to rebuild than it does to drop it.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
That rebuilding,
it's no joke.
No joke.
And it's definitely, even though speaking in regards to relationships, I understand that it can be a loss of someone.
Ooh, yes.
Or anyone.
Yes.
Did you ever experience anything besides relationships that caused more havoc to your depression?
I would say the loss of my grandmother.
Okay.
That was the one person that I asked her to her face, I'm going to need you to never die.
Wow.
And she would say, well, baby, you know how grandmothers do. The Lord is in control.
Right.
But no matter what, I'll always love you. Like I said, no, sign this contract and say, you gonna be here with me when the trumpet sound. You could be 192 years old. I will hover around you up to the Savior. We're going together. Right. And the night that she left this earth, and I heard in my spirit, she's leaving.
Really?
I didn't know what death looked like, or I just was like, in my prayer moment, I mean, I was like going in. Lord, don't take her. Devil, let her go.
Right.
I was just like, oh. And I just heard she's going. And she said to me, give me a little room. I'm okay, Grandma, I'm gonna stand over here while you just breathe. Right. And she took her last breath. I didn't know it then, but that's what happened. Okay. And I went to go pick her up to get her ready for the ambulance, and she was like a rock. Wow. And looking back on that, she was gone at that moment. It just didn't dawn on you. Because I know all this speaking in tongues I just did, you ain't going nowhere. Absolutely. You're going to stay here.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because a lot of times we do pray, but we don't really mean what we say when it comes to let his will still be done.
Yes.
So I definitely understand how when we pray about things, losing people, how we have to be cognitive to listen after we pray.
Yes.
Because when you have a certain relationship and understanding with him, you have to be able to be okay with his answer.
That's good.
And that's actually how I look at my brand, with For What It's Worth. Because at the end of the day, is it worth it to you? Whatever I say, whatever command I give you, whatever task that I give you that makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
Is it worth it to you?
Right.
Am I worth it to you? Heck, are you worth it to your own doggone self? Because at the end of the day, majority of the time, it's for his glory. Absolutely. But you're going to get something out of it.
Oh, yes. Agree.
You're going to get something out of it. So that's one thing that I even take away with my season of depression. Now, I will say this. I don't think that I would have had to go through it as long as I did if I had been obedient.
Okay.
I was very disobedient during this process. I kept going back doing things that I knew in my heart I shouldn't have been doing. But again, when you don't know who you are, it will cause you to do things that you don't usually do and prove yourself to all kinds of people, your family, your church, your friends, your spouse, whatever it may be. That's what goes on when you don't know who you are. Because if you don't have a solidified checklist for your own self, meaning your morals and everything like that, you'll go the route of trying to fulfill everybody else's morals.
Absolutely.
For you. And everybody has different opinions of who you should be.
Right.
Heck, they don't even know who they are.
Quiet as it's kept.
So
you're right.
You fighting a battle here for no reason, because you're gonna lose, and you're gonna probably lose them too. So at the end of the day, you just lost all the way around.
Do you feel that being in depression, something good was birthed out of it?
Oh, absolutely.
I never thought of it like that at first.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I started writing very young in high
Okay.
school. And my English teacher, I'll never forget her, Mrs. Leach. She said, you write too grown. You write like you old. Because my poems was deep.
Okay.
But it was my time to put my feelings somewhere.
Absolutely.
And then my mom would
Absolutely.
say, "It's too dark. It's too dark." You know, and let the parents, they do the best that they can
Absolutely.
with what
For where
they're
they are.
what they are given.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, you didn't really hear a lot about suicide. Didn't hear much about depression in the church at all.
Absolutely.
It's like, girl, that's just dark. And it really was me crying out. You know, and looking back, I'm sure she would feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was a wonderful person, but you know, times were different,
Absolutely.
and I wasn't brave enough to just say, "Excuse me." My writing really was my mechanism, you know. But also, being away from people wasn't always bad because I would talk to the Lord like I'm talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
just full blown
I
conversations.
definitely believe that isolation
Yes,
is a good and bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely weighs on both sides. But again, if you're isolating yourself without a higher source to go to, then I don't
Yes,
believe it's a good thing.
because it can turn into something deadly.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
agreed.
If you are a spiritual person, I definitely think that isolation can be great
Mm-hmm.
because if you're intentional and you're listening, then you can get some great things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of some things that I actually have written down in my journal have already manifested.
Wow.
And the good things, like when I would write out certain things, they weren't always bad.
Right.
But it's just a way of being able to see. I'm a big writer as well.
Mm-hmm.
Always writing, but I write out my thoughts, my feelings, because with my isolation and because I'm a talker, I think it makes a difference too when people are talkers than someone that maybe, more of an introvert.
Right.
Because I'm like you, I'm a people person.
Right.
So shunning myself off from people, I have no one to express what I feel inside. And that's why I would feel like I was going to go crazy.
I understand.
So me writing, I wasn't writing poetry, but I was literally always writing my thoughts. And it got to the point where I started doing voice memos because I couldn't keep up. My hand couldn't keep up with my thoughts. Literally, it's like I need this to be laid out on the table.
Right.
But then it's like, well, I want to respond. I'm tired of talking to myself now.
Right.
I'm tired of talking to myself. And that's where the frustration will come in with Lord. It's like, you see me down here. Like, you see me going through this. Like, what is it? Why are you not listening to me?
Right.
And it's more, it came to a point where I had to understand, I hear you. I see you.
Yes.
But you don't see what I see.
My God.
You don't see the growth that's taking place.
Yes.
You don't see the breaking of old ways about yourself that are falling off of you that are going to be rebuilt because of this. And it's not like, some people will take their situation and once they get on the other side, they'll make that their life. And then it's almost as if it's now a crutch.
Absolutely.
So where you can't even move past it because you're stuck at using this as your mechanism to be on top now. But I believe that it's vitally important to express and be transparent about your struggle and situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And provide those tools of how you overcame for other people. Because just saying, "Oh, I made it," that doesn't help the next person. How'd you get there? So I know for me, like I said, spiritually, it took isolation and prayer time for me. It took me getting in my word. It took me listening to daily devotional. It took me writing out sticky notes. My apartment had so many doggone sticky notes in the bathroom, over the toilet, in front of the toilet, over the microwave, on the refrigerator, on my bed, on the ceiling. So when I lay down, I look at it. Like, they were just everywhere.
Okay.
But the problem with that is, I will say that I recognize even people, motivational speakers, as far as success, they tell you to do that.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Ooh.
Put sticky notes of your future, your goals, and everything. Stick them everywhere so that you can always see it. It's part of this visualization thing they got going on.
I got you.
But when you're going through depression, and not even depression, I even think that when it has to do with your success, but specifically for depression, those notes became a part of decoration in my house. I wasn't looking at them anymore.
Okay.
They were just there.
Right.
I believe more of the lies in my head then I believe what was on there, because that wasn't happening. That's not what I seen happening. What I seen happening was the same thing I kept telling myself. So then it became, is the same thing that I'm seeing because it's what I'm telling myself, or is what I'm telling myself just what's happening because that's just what's going on in my life?
Right.
So confusion, like that's where it becomes very dark for people. So I definitely just want to encourage everybody that there is another side. I think that she provided good takeaways and tools for how she got to that point. And if you can, like, expound on that again, like just what you felt you did to get on the other side. You definitely mentioned you had to find yourself. So in finding yourself, what did you do? Because you said you were already in church. So what did you do to actually find yourself?
Well, part of being in a ministry, I think, is participating in the ministry. And it took me tapping into some things that I love. In the last, I will say, 5-6 years, I got into small groups. And I'm a talker already, love training. So I stepped out on faith and said, I'll facilitate. I'm not a big Bible scholar. So for many years, I shied away from those type of things because I didn't want anyone to ask me a question that I couldn't respond to and just have no credibility. But the curriculum was already prepared. It had scripture references. I studied. As a matter of fact, doing that made me study more. And then being around other people in the church, other believers. There was a women's group, a singles group. And I didn't have so much time to be depressed anymore. I'm really big on when I do something in the ministry, I want to be on point. I studied that lesson. I prayed so God could be in the midst of us as we were going through the curriculum. I wanted people to be enthused, and I wanted the objective of the pastor and of what the Lord was doing through the pastor to be done. I want people to come closer to the Lord, practical scripture application. And it was broken down into some basic principles about being single, about loving yourself, waiting on God, doing things God's way. And in doing that, the time I had to think about what I didn't have, how big I am or whatever, I came out of that isolation. And next thing I know, class after class, it felt so good to be back in tune to who I really was designed to be. It was as if I had a reunion with myself. This is the LaTanya that I know that I am.
And that's the thing. When you know who you are, that's the battle. That was the battle that I was going through. Like, I know who I am.
Right.
I just don't know how I got over here. I don't know how this person came from this person. Like, they don't even make sense. They would never even be friends. And so I definitely think that being around other positive people, like-minded people, people of encouragement, even if you're not a believer, even if you're not a Christian, whatever it is, you're still human.
Absolutely.
You still have feelings. And it's still possible for you to get on the other side. Surround yourself with like-minded people. You have to separate yourself sometimes from what may be your usual. Because if you're used to being around negative people that are like leeches and suck the energy out of you. And depression, you can't even recognize it because it's like an insane cycle, the same thing happening over and over again. So you have to change the energy in which you surround yourself with. So I just want to, I want to say thank you again. I appreciate your honesty, your transparency. I thank you for being a part of this project. The Good News Room is this. Sharing your situation and letting someone else know that they can get out. That it's not the end of the road for them. They don't have to end their life because there is light at the end of the tunnel. I know that sounds so cliche,
but it's true.
But you have to choose. To go through the tunnel to get to the other side. That's one thing that I always like to say, that out of all of his creation, he only gave us choice.
That's good.
So we have the power to make the choice. To get on the other side.
Absolutely.
And if you don't know someone, reach out. Facebook has so many different people all over the place.
That's a tool right there.
Absolutely. Facebook is absolutely is a tool.
Yes.
There are so many community groups
yes,
online.
really good ones.
And if you're ashamed,
mm-hmm.
still join a community group.
That's right.
Join a community group where don't nobody know you. It could be in a whole other state.
That's right.
Where you can just talk.
That's right.
They don't know you.
No judgment.
Absolutely. You can add me as a friend, Demetria
mm-hmm.
Bradford. You can add Miss LaTanya Harris Gooden on Facebook.
Absolutely.
I just want to encourage everybody to get in tune with yourself.
Absolutely.
Get in tune with the Creator first.
Yes.
That's where you'll recognize who you are.
Absolutely.
And
you're a preacher, girl. I felt that thing.
She is a comedian, y'all. She is going to be a comedian.
Get in tune to the Creator.
Get in tune with the Creator.
That's
we
right.
are co-creators. Like, we were given permission to take dominion over the earth. We are not created to be so independent, like Neo keeps saying. I know he made a hit with it. I used to be in the club singing it too. But that's not what that's not how we were created.
No.
And I don't know about y'all, but I don't like walking around acting like an alien.
Right.
Acting like somebody that I'm not.
That's right.
And so we have power within us to do things that we're not doing. So surround yourself with like-minded people. Find you an accountability partner. Find you someone that loves you. If some people really feel like they don't have anybody around them that loves them.
That's true.
Find a community group. Reach out to me. Reach out to somebody, some stranger that you just want to confide in, that you're comfortable with. After speaking with them a few times, trust me, keep praying about it. I promise you it'll happen. I promise you it'll happen. Amen. So the good news today is that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
You are special. You are valued. You are loved. There's another side to depression. You don't have to stay there.
That's right.
But while you're enduring the process, because sometimes it's needed. Yes. I'm not going to say that you don't have to go through it, because sometimes you do. It just depends on what your situation is and what he has for you.
But you can get through.
And you don't have to do it alone.
That's right.
So thank y'all for y'all